Good morning students. Today we are going to start another unit of our 11th biology syllabus, and the chapter we are going to discuss is cell, the basic unit of life. So here we are going to discuss about the history of discovery of cell, about prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell in detail. So let's start with this chapter. First of all, we are going to discuss some of the historical background, and then we will come to discuss about different type of cell. So if we talk about cell, that was first discovered by, first seen by a scientist named Robert Hooke. He was the first individual to see cell. Now he saw this cell in a cork slide, and in this cork slide under microscope he found that there are compartments present. This is how various compartments were present, and he called these compartments cell. Now today we know that cork क्या है? कॉर्क प्लांट का एक डेड पार्ट है. देयर इज डिपोजिशन ऑफ सुबरीन इज इन कॉर्क, और अंदर कोई भी मटेरियल नहीं है बिकॉज दैट इज अ कम्प्लीटली डेड, टफ एंड रिजिड स्ट्रक्चर दैट इज प्रोवाइडिंग प्रोटेक्शन टू द प्लांट. सो रॉबर्ट हुक ने जो फर्स्ट सेल देखी थी, एक्चुअली दैट वाज अ डेड सेल बिकॉज ही ऑब्जर्व द डेड पार्ट ऑफ द प्लांट. Next, there was another scientist, Anton von Leeuwenhoek, who again observed a cell, but this time he observed the living cell in pond water. So Anton von Leeuwenhoek observed first living cell. So first cell was observed by Robert Hooke, but first living cell was observed by Antony von Leeuwenhoek, and later on lots of discoveries were there, like Robert Brown discovered nucleus, Purkinje discovered protoplasm. So different discoveries were there, and from there the study of cell began. We came to know that organisms are made up of cell, what these cells are having, how these cells are functioning. So all these things started later on. Now the main thing that came was cell theory, and this cell theory was given by two scientists in 1839, and these were Schleiden and Schwann. So Schleiden and Schwann were working independently, but they published all their conclusions in a single journal, and they gave cell theory, and the major points that were included in their cell theory, first one was that all living organisms, whether they are unicellular organisms or they are multicellular organisms, they are made up of cell. All organisms or all living organisms are made up of cell. Second was that this cell is going to be the structural and functional unit of life. Means the function that is performed by our body, all the cells of our body are going to perform each and every function. हमारी liver cells जो function कर रही हैं, that is the function that is performed by our liver. So each individual cell is going to perform each and every function. So it is the structural and functional unit of life. Now there was another scientist, a third scientist came, that was Rudolf Virchow, who added a third point in cell theory. So these three scientists were playing important role to give us modern cell theory. He said that omnis cellula e cellula. What this line means? Omnis cellula e cellula simply means that a new cell is going to arise from a pre-existing सेल, अगर पहले से कोई लिविंग सेल प्रेजेंट है तो वही लिविंग सेल is going to give rise to a new cell. So a new cell is going to arise from a pre-existing cell. So all these points led to the modern cell theory. Then we came to know that yes, each and every organism is made up of cells. We are having two type of organisms depending upon the cells they are having. These are either unicellular organisms which are only made up of single cell, like bacteria is there, mycoplasma is there, or we are having multicellular organisms which are formed because of many cells, more than 2 cells are present. Now if a single cell is present in an organism, then all the function are going to be performed by this single cell only. But if an organism is having more than 2 cells or more cells, many cells are present, then what happens? Then these organisms are going to show a advancement, and what that advancement is? It is division of labor. The multicellular organisms are going to show division of labor, means here cells are going to group together and they are going to perform single function, means these cells are going to form tissues. These are the group of cells which are going to perform specific function, and this is how the work is divided. Like our digestive system is playing different role, it is involved in digestion of food. Our respiratory system is playing different role, respiration में involved है, breathing में involved है. So these are performing their individual functions. So this is how multicellular organisms in the cells have divided their own role, and they become the part of different organ systems. So they form tissues, tissues aggregated to form organs, and organs are going to form the organ system, and this is how the complete organism is going to form. So this is how the cells are working in multicellular organisms. Now if we see the shapes of the cell, then the shape and size of the cell is going to vary. All the cells are not going to have same shape and size. So let's see how the size of the cell is varying. Then we will talk about the shape. So there are different factors on which size of the cell is depending. What these factors are? The first factor on which the size of the cell is depending is nucleocytoplasmic ratio. Ratio of nucleus and cytoplasmic content. So it is nucleocytoplasmic ratio. That is going to affect the size of the cell. See, what we know about cell is that there is a outer boundary, that is plasma membrane, that is present, that is maintaining the integrity of the cell, and inside the cell, in the center, nucleus is going to be present, and outside this nucleus cytoplasmic content is there. So this is all cytoplasmic content. Now this nucleus is having DNA, genetic material is going to be present inside this nucleus, that is going to control all the cellular activities. So if nucleus is going to be small and cytoplasm is going to be very large, then this nucleus is not able to control activity of all this cytoplasmic content. So there should be always a proper ratio between nucleus and cytoplasm, so that nucleus can take control of all the cellular activities. That's why this nucleocytoplasmic ratio is very important to maintain the size of the cell, that is not allowing the cell to increase very much. The second one is important point is surface area to volume ratio. That is also maintaining the size of the cell. How? It simply means that when size of a cell is going to increase, the size of the cell is going to increase very large, then surface area to volume ratio is going to decrease. Because of this हमारी cells बहुत ज़्यादा बड़ी नहीं होती हैं size में, because this ratio is going to decrease. Let's see how. See, if we consider a cell, a cubical cell, and each side of this cell is of 1 centimeter. Then if we find out the area of this cell, then area will be length into breadth, plus it is having 6 sides, so into 6. So that is coming out to be 1 into 1 into 6 centimeter square. That will be the area of this cell. And if we talk about the volume of this cell, that will be length into breadth into height. That is going to be 1 into 1 into 1 means 1 centimeter cube. So अगर यहाँ से हम area volume ratio निकालते हैं, so area volume ratio is going to be 6:1. But if I am going to increase the size of the cell and now each side is of 2 centimeter, अगर हम size बढ़ा दें और हर एक side कितनी है 2 centimeter की है, then we calculate the area. अब area कितना होगा 2 into 2 into 6, that will be 24 centimeter square, and the volume will be this will be the volume for it. So the volume is going to be 8 centimeter cube. So if we see the ratio over here, the ratio is 24:8, or simply it can be 3:1. So here the ratio was 6:1, और अगर हमने सेल का साइज़ बढ़ा दिया तो रेशो क्या हुआ, कम हो गया. सो जैसे जैसे सेल का साइज़ बढ़ता है वैसे वैसे सरफेस एरिया टू वॉल्यूम रेशो डिक्रीज़ हो जाता है. सो देयर विल बी नो मच मोर इंक्रीज इन द साइज ऑफ द सेल. So this was the second factor that was controlling the size of the cell. Then another one is, that is rate of metabolic activity that is going to happen, that is also controlling the size of the cell. So it can be rate of metabolic activity. So different factors are going to control the size of the cell. Plus size of the cell is going to vary. We are having organisms which are having smallest cell, size of the cell is smallest, like the smallest cell that is present is mycoplasma, or it is also known as PPLO, pleuropneumonia like organism. Here the size of the cell is going to vary from 0.1 micrometer to 0.5 micrometer. So this is the smallest cell that is going to be present, and this is not having, this mycoplasma is not having cell wall. So cell wall is going to be absent. Otherwise bacteria is the smallest cell that is having cell wall, but mycoplasma is the smallest cell that is not having cell wall. And the largest cell is a ostrich egg, that is very big in size. So size of the cell is going to vary from smallest to the largest. And again the shape of the cell is also going to vary, and shape of the cell depends upon the type of function the cell is going to perform. शेप किस पे डिपेंड करती है कि सेल हमारी बॉडी में कैसा फंक्शन परफॉर्म करती है. ऑन दैट बेसिस द शेप ऑफ द सेल इज गोइंग टू वेरी. लाइक WBCs, they are having irregular structure, irregularly shaped होती हैं. They can easily leak out from the blood vessels. Amoeboid shape is there. So these are WBCs with amoeboid shape or irregular structure. Are muscle cells, smooth muscle cells, they are going to be spindle shaped. So shape is again going to vary. Choanocytes that are present in sponges which are having this collar like structure, these are choanocytes, and these choanocytes are present in porphyrians, or you can say sponges. Then we are having our nerve cells, which are going to have a long extension, axon. So this is the nerve cell that is going to be the longest cell present in our body. We are having bacteria of different shape, like round coccus are present, rod shaped bacillus are there, coma shaped vibrio, or you can say spiral shaped spirillum. Goblet cells are present which are involved in secretion. So this is how the goblet cells are going to be present. So I have drawn a few. There are lots of cells present which are having different shape, and this is simply depending upon the type of function these cells are going to perform. So this is how the shape and size of the cell is varying. Now depending upon the DNA, the genetic material that is present in the cell, we divide cell into two major categories. These are prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. So we are going to differentiate them on the basis of DNA present. And what will be the difference that is going to happen in between them? If we observe a prokaryotic cell, तो prokaryotic cell का जो genetic material होता है, that is not going to be surrounded by a nuclear membrane. वहाँ पर nuclear membrane नहीं present है, and that DNA is going to be lying directly in the contact of cytoplasm. There will be circular single strand DNA strand, or you can say single chromosome is there, and this single chromosome is present in cytoplasm. Why? Because there is no nuclear membrane. कोई न्यूक्लियर मेम्ब्रेन वहाँ पर प्रेजेंट नहीं है, इसलिए वो डायरेक्टली साइटोप्लाज्म के कॉन्टेक्ट में प्रेजेंट है. एंड वी कैन कॉल इट एज जीनोफोर. द टर्म्स दैट आर यूज्ड फॉर इट इज जीनोफोर और न्यूक्लियोइड, और वी ऑल्सो कॉल दिस क्रोमोसोम एज प्रोक्रोमोसोम. So these are going to be the primitive organisms. Pro means primitive and karyon means nucleus, which are having primitive nucleus. While if we observe the nucleus of eukaryotic cells, then they are having linear DNA. यहाँ पर DNA कैसा है? Linear DNA present है. And chromosome, how many chromosomes are there? Many chromosomes are there. Depending upon species to species, the number of chromosomes are going to vary. So linear DNA, फिर large number of chromosomes, and there is presence of proper nuclear membrane. So their genetic material or DNA is not going to come in contact with cytoplasm. इनका genetic material cytoplasm के contact में नहीं आता है. So this is यूकैरियोटिक सेल. उन सेल्स को हम क्या बोलते हैं? यूकैरियोटिक सेल्स बोलते हैं. नाउ अनदर डिफरेंस इज गोइंग टू कम विद द मेम्ब्रेन बाउंड ऑर्गेनेलीज. जो प्रोकैरियोटिक सेल्स होती हैं वहाँ पर मेम्ब्रेन बाउंड ऑर्गेनेलीज एब्सेंट होती हैं, लाइक माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया इज देयर, गोल्जी बॉडीज, एंडोप्लाज्मिक रेटिकुलम. सो ऑल दीज आर गोइंग टू बी एब्सेंट while they are present in these eukaryotic cells. So membrane bound organelles, these are the compartments which are going to play specific role, are absent, while here the membrane bound organelles are present. Another difference is, because here DNA is present in cytoplasm itself, so यहाँ पर ट्रांसक्रिप्शन और ट्रांसलेशन, RNA सिंथेसिस और प्रोटीन सिंथेसिस कहाँ होगा? In the cytoplasm itself. While here different compartments are there, clear cut nucleus is there, so transcription is going to occur in this nucleus while translation is going to occur in cytoplasm. So transcription and translation both are going to occur in cytoplasm, while here transcription is going to occur in nucleus and translation is occurring in cytoplasm, because here different compartments are going to be present. So these are the major difference between prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. In this chapter we are going to study in detail about the structure of a prokaryotic cell as well as a eukaryotic cell. So with the help of a simple diagram we are going to describe a eukaryotic cell. So let's discuss about a prokaryotic cell. So simply if we talk about the DNA of the prokaryotic cell, then nucleoid is there and it is going to lie. This is the nucleoid. That is directly present in contact with the cytoplasm, that is also known as genophore or prochromosome. So no true nuclear envelope is present around it. Now for movement there is flagella present, a long thread like structure is present which is helping in locomotion. So flagellum is there, that can be single or more than one flagellum can also be present in a prokaryotic cell. Some other structures like fimbriae are also there. Small pili like structures are also present. So fimbriae and pili are present which are helping in attachment of the prokaryotic cell with any substratum and also helpful in conjugation, in sexual reproduction where two prokaryotic cells are going to exchange their genetic material. One more thing, other than nucleoid there is extra chromosomal DNA present, that is known as plasmid. न्यूक्लियड के अलावा भी DNA present है, that is extra chromosomal DNA, and this plasmid, it is not essential for the survival of a prokaryotic cell, but it is providing different characteristics like nitrogen fixation property, resistant property to the prokaryotic cell, mostly bacteria. Other than this, ribosomes are going to be present. They are lying in the cytoplasm and mostly they are present in form of polyribosomes. Large number of ribosomes, they are attached on a mRNA strand. So a chain of ribosomes is going to be formed, that is known as polyribosome. Then outer membranes, if we talk about the outer membrane, then the outside one is cell wall and inner to it is cell membrane. And outside this cell wall there is a sticky mucilage layer that is going to be present. So all around this cell wall a layer of mucilage is present. Now it is also having, a prokaryotic cell is also having vacuoles, but here sap vacuoles are absent, but some of the gas vacuoles are going to be present. So some vacuoles are there which are mostly gas vacuoles, gas are filled in them. So gas vacuoles are there. Then fat globules are present, stored foods like glycogen is there. They are having respiratory enzymes, and these respiratory enzymes are attached to this membranous infolding of plasma membrane that is known as mesosome, and this infolding is having some respiratory enzymes. Thylakoids are present. Now thylakoids are going to be present in blue green algae and some of the photosynthetic bacteria. These are not going to be present in chloroplast, but they are going to present in cytoplasm only, and these are thylakoids which are going to be present in photosynthetic prokaryotic cells. Then this is simply a prokaryotic cell. Pili, these are the small structures that are going to be present in numerous numbers. If we see the DNA content, then DNA content is going to be low, and transcription and translation, they are going to occur in cytoplasm only. And other membrane, we have seen that we haven't drawn any of the membrane bound organelle, only ribosomes are there. Other membrane bound organelles are going to be absent. So we then talked about ribosomes. Ribosomes are there, and these ribosomes are 70S ribosomes which are present only in cytoplasm. So this is a simple prokaryotic cell. In our next class we will talk about a typical bacterial cell.